go ahead and adding or updating other changes. So from last exercise, we had used the SQLite database in order to save the data. The last example had only insert option. Right now, I'm going to add all like edit, delete, and view. Since the class already been written with all the utility functions, helper function or whatever, so we have already those methods added for us. So I'm going to extend this example. I'm going to name it as since it was just an example, so I'll give a shopping list. I'll make it 3.0. So I'm going to use same blueprint and on checking icon, and then I'm going ahead creating a blank activity. So as our naming convention, so everything is done for us. First I have to bring all codes. If you want to maintain that utility folder, you can still do it. So I have a package where I'll be writing all the helper classes, or that helps me to organize the code. So I'll start copying the files. Start from strings. The better practice start with the strings because you will have a lot of strings called from that file. And then menu. This menu by default created, so I would remove it. And layout. This one was created in a Hello World project, so I'm going to remove that. Drawer. So this thing is done. Time to copy. I'll keep the MyDB into different package. So for better organization purpose, so I'm keeping the files in a different package. Okay, before that I will copy this alone. Main activity, I prefer to copy it. That's why a different name exists. So wrong imports also copied, maybe I'll remove them. A simple adapter, when you use a for your when you use the cursor now for displaying the list view, there are two imports possible. So simple cursor adapter, if you look at it, uh, if you see, you should import the one Android dot support v4 widget simple cursor adapter one. And you are also seeing one more simple cursor adapter. You may see it because right now we are using a support version, because simple cursor adapter added after the API level 11, I hope. So we are using API level 8 as a minimum one. So Android gives a support package in order to give a backward compatibility. So make sure you import the simple cursor adapter from this particular support. So if we get an error, minimum level API something needed, make sure your import is correct. This is a support package of an Android push with the various SDK upgrades. If such a feature, new feature added, the previous version will be having the same feature through the support package. So you can find the support package under libs folder. Usually there is a support package will be added for you. This particular package gives a backward compatibility for a new API is added uh, lately. So those things will make sure. So simple cursor adapter added after API 11, and for a lower level API such as 8, 9, 10, the same support was added using a support widget. So make sure you copy them correctly. And item activity, of course the import has to be done, other than it's everything fine. Now my code is set according to the standard. I have to make sure my manifest also has an entry for the activity newly added. I prefer not to have this suffix, prefix, so that I can easily copy paste it from one manifest to another. Other than, it doesn't have much significance. If at all your file comes with a different package other than the package name defined on the top here. So now my code is ready, and now time to add other add-ons. Before, I want to make sure the code is working. So everything looks fine. First I need to clean up something, because we had a lot of constants which may not be useful at this point. So item ID, item new, item edit, item delete, we have item read only. Okay, this is fine. This data full default value, we don't need it now, because we are almost removed the preference manager. We are not no more using them. Add item request code, edit item request code, for me both is going to be the same. So I'm going to say item request code alone. I don't want, because I'm going to use the single flag in order to update as well as insert for my activity result. Okay, if at all anything to be removed, we'll see. Of course, the expected errors. I'm going to remove this case I feel this may not be required. What is the other errors? This is for adding. This item index also I may not be required, because instead of item index we have item ID populated from the database itself, so I'm not going to require item index also. So the set result is common. I mean, in this case it's quite common, going to be for update and insert. So I'm cleaning up the code a little bit. So if it is an item new, it will go for insert block. If an item something not new, so naturally we'll have an item ID inserted. So we are going to do that, which is already getting. And this block also I am not going to need, because I've no more requiring the item position now. So set visibility gone. For save we have set only for read only, so probably instead of that I can keep any unused item read only. Okay, that will be item index, but slightly name is confusing. That's like that, I'll keep it. So this will make sure getting text and item position, I am not going to need it. Okay, so slightly if it required we'll come back and see. Okay. If item ID equal to if it is new, if it's not new I'll have to make it as a update one. So this is for edit, so the text will be the save, whatever text we display on the button will be changed to edit, and the title will be accordingly set. If it is not, -1, because -1 we set only for inserting it. Okay, so this has been set. If it is for read only, okay, read only, now it is slightly relevant. So read only, I'm going to keep it as -2. Keeping a minus will make sure you won't get a positive number, so I can use it for flagging purpose. So let I make slight other changes. Item P equal to item new. So this is for new entry, this is for read only purpose or new entry, and if anything comes it will be for editing purpose. So we cut short various flags. Item new, I can make sure it is set back to yeah, I haven't added that, but okay. This will make sure, okay, I'll hard code it as of now. This is for editing purpose. I'm just keeping it blank, or maybe set title. The title won't be displayed anyway for default action bar added, but for backward compatibility I'm adding them. Oh, here we already have it, so this will set the button invisible. This is for error. So now we get rid of this also. So item ID, if it is new, the button text will display save and have a title add item. Item ID, if it is read only, the button will disappear and the title will be set to view item, and anything other than that comes will have the edit option enabled. So based on the item ID itself, I can classify what kind of bundle which is coming inside. So I can safely get rid of some of other constants. So looks fine. So insert won't require item ID, so naturally it will insert it, and this will make sure the update is done using the item ID inserted. Update means one particular record is getting modified, and that's been done. And for viewing, I have to do some more things. So if I need an item ID in order to display an existing record or for a reading record. So item ID may be bringing the ID of a primary key of a database. I'll write a separate method for it instead of depending on the existing one. So we'll open the DB. Need a cursor. Get item by item ID. I'm going to use the newest one which I added later. Item ID. Move to first, which may not be required because it is going to retrieve only one single record. So probably I may get rid of, or for safer side I can keep move to first. I don't need a loop here because the item which is going to be one single entry, so it is going to contain only one entry. So what I can do, item name, set text, cursor get string, get column index of item name here. So that's what we have set. Item quantity. Unfortunately here it cannot be a string, even though it expects a string. Let's see if any problem comes. This, since it is a value of type double, I need to make sure it is string. I can use a toString instead. I do not want to waste the time now, so I'm just going to concatenate with the string value. There it ends. Okay, it doesn't convert it. Okay, this will make sure the returning double value converted to a string, so that it can be attached to a text view, means our edit text. If I get any more. Okay. So now I can safely close the cursor because I know I don't need it, and DB also I'm closing it. So this get item will retrieve the value from the database and attach it to the respective widgets, in this case for edit text present. I'm going to need them for read only and for edit. So this will fetch the records from the database and attach it to the respective view based on the item ID coming inside. Whereas for new, I need to keep them blank, so I'm not calling that particular method. So having separately defined helps me to call it multiple times, and this will retrieve the value when item is clicked. Let me go back to shopping list. So I have to make sure the item is added, then item is clicked. So before, I'll populate some items. So once I click the item, it should display the content. If I long press and check edit, it should take me to the same activity, but that should allow me to edit it, and finally delete. So those context menu option we have already added while we do the last exercise. I mean, even in shopping list version 1.1 itself we have added it. So now it's time to call the respective intents to trigger the edit and view option. Let me first start with the edit. So I need a intent. Okay. I need to send ID of item ID of the particular item. So I'm going to say put extra item ID. The item ID can be retrieved from the adapter context menu info, which gave me a position before. Right now, this info dot id. So this will retrieve the primary key of the particular database from the cursor, because already we are using simple adapter or simple cursor adapter. The cursor already has a primary key attached to it, which is called item ID. Nothing but the value is underscore ID. So cursor knows, or the simple cursor adapter knows, which is the primary key. So that particular ID would be retrieved. Instead of if you call position, you can call ID. That will give you a primary key of the particular record. So start activity for result. Request code, I have one request code alone. This request code is being sent. So this will take me to the item activity, and since I am injecting item ID as a bundle with the primary key, this ID will come here and get the value of the ID, and based on the item ID it will retrieve the particular record using get item function. So since the item ID is going to come with a non-minus values, so naturally this block will land here, because new is a negative value -1 and read only is a negative value -2. So whatever value which is going to come, which is going to contain a positive value, so naturally this block will be executed. So this is for our edit purpose. So we'll populate the results from the database and attach it to a edit text, and we can go ahead either pressing update, or of course this particular block will be executed because it is not item new, it is an existing item. So it will call the update item function, and then we'll make sure the database is updated and closed. And I think I can make this part as common. So result will land over there. So the request code, if it comes with the result code, I'm not going to expect any bundles because I'm not attaching any bundles here. Simple plain intent is there, no bundle, so I don't need a bundle to be unwrapped here. So all I need to do is I can change the toast message. So retrieve the full database from the, full values from the database and attach it to the adapter. So I'm hoping this should work. So long pressing going to take me, okay, something gone wrong. Typically we'll find out. show anything. I really don't know. Let me run one more time. See if it's having any error. So I'm going to comment some block not to see what went wrong. I'm suspecting this block alone because the previous one were working fine. As I expected, that may be the problem. So get item, get string, everything looking fine here. Maybe this guy expect a for loop. I don't know. Get string, this get double. For safer side, I'll put back the for loop. Slightly weird, but let me see. Empty value. Get int. Everything looks fine for me. Okay, let me run one more time. Okay, so class cast exception is coming. So it's not error, but typically a kind of warning. Database is giving me a value of type long where I tried to cast it as an integer. That may be the reason. So I need to modify the db also, which will take a sort of integer for long. Couple of cases where I'll be calling them. So I should be converted to long. Otherwise we can typecast it, but I don't want to confuse it, so just keep what is requiring, we just give them. So it's a long value. Long value is a pretty big integer, that's also it still comes under integer. I mean integer comes under long, so the whole integer range comes under long, so we can safely use them. So this is also a long type which is still comes under an integer range. Okay. Okay, now it brought the results. So modify them, edit it, got edit. This is mango. It got edit. So now our edit is live. The same method for adding and editing both is used. So I can use so it will take care of adding and editing as well. So now edit is live. All we need to give a delete option now. So delete will, of course I'm not going to need position anymore, I need an ID, which will take me to a display alert dialog. Of course it is long. For better clarity I'm going to make it as a item ID. So in this place we have to delete our database. I hope already we have a database connection open for us, so we can use the same database connection. So all I need to issue the delete statement and give the item ID. That also I need to modify, seems to be. Where is the delete, which still takes integers? I need to convert them as long. There I went away. So now I can delete. Oh, sorry, I forgot to update the adapter. This is a previous example. I need to close it down also. Closing and reopening will update the adapter. The item went away, but only problem here we did not update the adapter. So what I need to do is the same part here to capture the result. Get all items from DB. It's for log purpose. I think remove that also, which is not needed. We wrote this method for checking log. I find no use of at this point because our UI itself updating everything. So I'm removing the get all items from DB method. The last exercise we wanted to see the result in log. For that purpose we wrote that method, so at this point it is not required. So the item will be deleted with the primary key whatever it comes, and the cursor will be updated, a new cursor will be added, and it will be changed with the existing cursor which is already there for adapter. So a new cursor will be added, so naturally it will force the adapter to refresh the value. Let me clean the imports. So now code is done. For one more time we will check it. So now I can edit the content and I can delete it. Went away. I think I need to add the view option also. We already have a list adapter added. This time ID is going to be different. So position and ID is not going to be same in this time because the cursor is going to display the primary key value here. So position may start from 0 because it's an indexed one, whereas ID will always start from positive numbers. And that too depends on the database primary key because database automatically gives a particular ID as auto increment. So value could be anything. So what I'm going to do, put an intent. This won't work. Item, for every intent I'm going to post the item ID key alone. So here I comes. I think I'm going to have a small problem here, but let me see how I plan. This is for inserting, this is for read only, but I need to give item ID in order to retrieve the data. So I still need one more key. I'll do it in a different way because I'm really not in a position to introduce more key. Instead, I'm going to do it as make it as a boolean. Make it as a string. So read only, I'm setting value true. It means only for read only purpose. So for rest, I'm going to set false. The other guys. This is for edit purpose. And that's it. Only two areas we call them. Delete, we directly delete. So now it has become a string. read only is true, it is for viewing purpose, else for reading purpose. So I can get rid of this block. So this is only for reading purpose, anything other than that is considered for editing. And whereas the item ID comes with the non-minus value or what anything else, so it is going to be for insert purpose. So we can view them. Can edit. And subsequently I can delete it as well. And adding an item. So this app right now has all it is capable of doing a CRUD operation. Mean it can retrieve, update, delete, and of course it can also retrieve a specific data for the primary key. So right now we have made use of this much of constants, which is pretty lesser than the previous code, and we have our parcelable objects also reduced. We do not parcel that much before, like we were adding everything, bringing every data from to and fro between the activities. Right now I am only taking the primary key based on the item clicks, and subsequently I handle the edit and insert operations. So code has been become much more smaller, and uh, saving the particular items in a database helps us to keep everything organized, and also helps us to retrieve the data very quickly, because all I need to know the primary key of the specific record. And we have made use of this helper class functions which retrieve the data according to our requirement as far as this app. So this app require following methods. Of course, this app inserting an item, updating an item, deleting an item, of course retrieving an item, retrieving all the items. Also it was retrieving an item based on the specific item ID. So everything has been written. Now code is working as expected. So this is a complete migration of SQLite database as far as the shopping list app. So I've named this app as a version 3.0. I'll upload this code to our developer portal, so you can start your exercise after the lunch break. If any question comes, you can always ask me. And of course, if you have alternate way of doing the same also, I would recommend that also if you have any. But try to have a simplistic approach. Since we are migrating from one code, and since we are coming to this level, we have modified a lot, but the logic remains same. I'm not sending the entire parcelable objects like before. Instead, I'm only sending the primary key of a particular record, so that it can be retrieved anywhere wherever the item need to be displayed. So this item is displayed here using in the second activity using the item ID which is injected from the previous activity. So this is it. So even I have reduced the result and the request code, so everything looks much smaller and cleaner. So now you can maybe you can go for a break, lunch break, and meanwhile I'll put the code and start your exercises after the lunch break.